Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Jeannie, and I am your co-host on Mindshifters Radio, The Forgiveness Doctor, with Dr. Michael Ryce. And we're glad to be with you this beautiful Monday. We already have a couple of people in the chat room and on the switchboard. Nobody has questions right at the moment, but the call-in number is 646-200-4169, or you can put your question in the chat room, and we will put it out online. We have Terry and David both with us, and they're both on air, so welcome.
Thank you, Jeannie.
Hey, how's it going, folks? How's it going there, Jeannie, Dave?
Awesome. Good to hear both of your voices. This past week's been a little confusing. I apologize for Friday. I wasn't able to get onto the switchboard, but I hear that, David, you did a wonderful job handling it just from the phone, and we apologize to callers for not being able to take calls or to chat with you in the chat room, but I think we're back on target now.
Yes, we are. Yeah, it was quite interesting, to do it that way, and I've got some nice feedback from some other folks. And anyone else that's out there listening and or in the chat room, if you have some ideas and thoughts about how we can do this better, then we're open and receptive to that. And to let you know that I myself and a couple of other people are going to know exactly how this technology works so that we can eliminate those issues. It has been, it was a fabulous week last week. There was a lot of participation with callers and with people in the chat room, and some people that said that they've had some really fabulous insights and ideas around what the program is about. And for those that might be listening for the first time, this is Mindshifters Talk Radio, and then Dr. Michael Ryce, the Forgiveness Doctor, is usually on, and he's been traveling and he's been doing several workshops, and we're not sure where he's at right now with the communication with the cell phones and so forth. We know that he should be scheduled to be back tomorrow. And so Terry and Jeannie and myself are going to have the lines opened and the chat room opened up for any questions or thoughts or ideas. I did put in last week the recommendation suggesting to support people in taking a worksheet and doing a worksheet every day, and to do that on an inanimate object, to just begin with that. And the forgiveness worksheet is, for the new callers, is on our website at www.whyagain, and it's WHYAGAIN.com. Go to the worksheets and download a worksheet, because this work is about forgiveness, and forgiveness from the Aramaic language meaning to untie or let go. And so anyone have anything to add? I'm kind of talking. I've kind of already gotten into the show, and for folks that have listened to me before, I kind of just talk a lot. I'm one of those people that I love this work. I love what it's done to support me and my family and friends in order to create a lifestyle and create and get in touch with my true essence of who it is that I am. One thing I did learn, Jeannie and Terry, from being on the show last week is that, this is a conversation. For me to just talk by myself without some interaction with someone else, it's more like a lecture, as a friend of mine told me this morning. And so when we have people out there that are asking the questions, I can talk about this work all the time for when I talk about it, when I get to teach myself and to learn. And we really are there to support you, like with a Mindshifter support group. The whole premise of this is to set it up where it's available, that every day you have a way of connecting in to a support group and implementing these tools in your life. I talked with a friend of mine this morning who I haven't talked with in quite some months, Tom Wilcox. Oh, I mentioned his name. I guess that's okay. And, we got caught up on some different things. And this talk show is about supporting people in order to implement the tools. Tom was a friend of mine and is a friend of mine that was involved in the support group there in Chicago, which Dr. Tim Hayes is operating there. And Tim, you're listening, and Tom may be there over the next week or this week, maybe in visiting. I don't know. So we want to make this program about people that can call in to ask questions, to look at the website and say, well, what does all this mean? Now, and we'll repeat things over and over because that is one of the ways that we do learn. And our idea is to first maybe put one of the key thoughts out there. If you go in and download the book on the website of www.whyagain.com, you can download the book free. It's in several different languages, and all through the book you will see that there are what Michael refers to as key thoughts. So what my idea and what I did all last week, Jeannie, was to take one of these key thoughts and open up the program with a key thought and then talk around that key thought and build from that. And if someone else is downloading the book or looked at it or been reading it or have some questions, if you used the worksheet last week and some things came up for you and you're not quite clear about it and you'd like some support in working through that, then that's our purpose in being here. So, Terry,
well,
do you have anything to add?
We do already have a question on the switchboard, so let's go ahead and take that first. Area code 765, you're on the air. Who do we have and where are you calling from?
Hi, it's St. Jane calling. And
I'm St. Jane.
Hello, Miss Jane.
Oh, did he get back from his voyage, Michael?
He is back, and I thought he was going to be on the call today. He's in Fort Lauderdale right now, and I am up in St. Augustine. He's supposed to be joining me sometime today or tomorrow, and I do know that he was doing a workshop this morning and was actually going to be breathing some people, so he may be in the middle of doing that. I've texted him a couple of times and haven't gotten a response, so I'm assuming that somewhere along this next hour he'll probably pop in. Good.
Well, I'm anxious to hear how it all went. I called in with a question that I had emailed to you, David, and it's on a Mindshifter, on the healing into aliveness. And the Mindshifter reads, being addicted to blank heals me of that addiction. And I had emailed you and said, I'm not quite clear. Are you clear on what that means? That's number 13, being addicted to blank heals me of that addiction.
Uh-huh. So I don't know if you were able to. It's a wonderful question, Jane. And actually, Ken was here Friday with me at Heartland, and he had a reference to a Mindshifter, and it was along that. And were you able to be on Friday, on the show Friday?
No, that's why I'm doing it today. I wasn't available.
Okay, yeah, because I got your email, and I commented in the email that I would talk about that on the air.
I knew you did.
Okay. Yeah, and so I did go over that on Friday.
Okay.
And I'll be glad to go over it and talk with you, talk about it because it's such a great question. Ken was referring to that about, his was a different one. His was 2-1, and he was wondering what is this, and we first have to understand that how the mind is set up, where we refer to there's a conscious mind, there's a subconscious, and then an unconscious mind. And when we talk about the conscious mind, that's the things that we're observing and paying attention to right at that particular moment. Now, when I send a instruction out there or a message out there like don't think of the color of your car or think of the color of your car, then automatically it's right there at the top of it. It would come right into your consciousness. That's what we call about that there's things that are that's in the subconscious. They're readily available. If I would ask you, though, what's the color of your car that you owned in 1974? Some people may not have even owned one. Or what was the color of your car that you owned in 1989? Then your mind would have to kind of dig down into that to see what that was. It may not resonate right away. It could. That means that that's deeper embedded down into the unconscious. The purpose of the Mindshifters is to bring things that are resonated, that are down in the unconscious up to the conscious mind. When we do a mind shifter, our mind has already determined what it is that it means. It's kind of like, oh, well, I know what that means. But what happens is that when we write on the left-hand side, and I went through that we'll write that mind shifter out. As we continue to do that, what we're doing is we're opening the space, we're opening the veil of the things that might be underneath of that. My thought is, the first time that I did that particular one, it's like, well, this doesn't make sense. I mean, what do you mean? I'm not addicted to what? Oh, okay. And so what happens, Jane, is each time that I write that out and then go to the right-hand side, there's something else that's been resonated. There's another thought around it. When my 9 bits gets filled with the one question, it's like there's no that's the answer. If I take that as the only answer, then I can't see anything else. So the invitation is to commit to spending a minimum of an hour and some quiet time and just write it out. That's where the insights will come. The mind wants to know, well, what is it and what's the answer to it, and wants to have it right away. If we could do that, but then there would be no issues or problems, in which there really aren't, to handle, because we would know what the answers are immediately. But with our 9-bit mind, that's all that it is that could show up. So though that it doesn't make sense, even to do something, it's like, well, I don't even have an issue around that. What do you mean addiction? I've found from my experience and from what other folks have told me that once they stay with it long enough, they're really digging down into that and bringing something up that the conscious mind just did not see.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah, it does, and I'll do that, probably this evening.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it. Thank you, David.
Oh, you're most welcome, Jane, and thank you. That's the whole purpose of this program and this support is that, this doesn't make sense to do this, because the mind's like, why even look at that? Why even talk about that? And a lot of folks will say, what do I want to delve down into something anyway if it's not there? I remember the first time that I heard Michael talk about feelings, about getting in touch with feelings that we're not conscious of, that we can actually be feeling something and not be conscious of it. And I said, that doesn't make sense to my 9-bit mind. It didn't make sense. And then he uses the analogy of using, if we put a wool sweater on. When we first put a wool sweater on us, or anyone who's ever done that, have you ever noticed how it itches? It's like, oh, my goodness, it just really itches. And then after about 10 or 15 minutes or less, the itch goes away. Or does it? For a little 6 hours later, when we take the sweater off, we go, oh, well, the itch was there all of the time. It's just that it was hidden it was dissociated from through our mind. And, it's not there. And this happens with all of the senses. I don't know if any of y'all have ever gotten into an automobile, and all of a sudden, you get that new car smell. And you smell it for a little bit. After an hour or so, that smell goes away. Or does it? Until you get out of the car, you smell the outdoor air, and then you get back in the car, and it's like, oh, it's got that new car smell again. Does the smell really go away? Eventually it does, because there's other odors and things that are absorbed into that. Same way with the conscious and unconscious mind. So that was a fabulous question. Great way to start things off. Is there anyone else out there, Jeannie, that has a question or comment or thought?
Yes, actually there is, and we'll take this caller, and then I actually have a question out of the chat room as well. So
okay,
area
great.
code. Okay, hold on one second. Area code 815, you're on the air. Who do we have, and where are you calling from?
This is Dr. Tim.
Hi, Tim.
Hi, Jeannie. Hi, David.
Hello, Dr. Tim. How are you, my friend?
And St. Jane. I guess she's already dropped off the line, but
she's still listening, but I've muted her microphone.
Okay. Well, I was just calling in because I had comments about her question, which is fabulous.
Okay, well, she's still on there listening.
Are you back? Are you
yes,
still there?
she's on there. Yes. Can you hear us?
I'm here.
Okay, go for it. Dr. Tim, go ahead.
This is Dr. Tim. Are you there?
Yes, go for it. We can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me, Tim?
Yes, David, I can. You went dead a couple times, but now we're back.
Okay.
The question of my addiction to blank heals me of my addiction strikes me as being useful, and it's been useful for people in our support group 2 different ways. One way is to think that when I learn that everything's an inside job, then instead of blaming the substance I'm addicted to or the behavior I'm addicted to or the person that triggered me to be angry that made me think I had to go out and do something, I look inside and I look at the negative feelings, thoughts, past memories that are stirred up in me when I try to avoid using the addictive substance. And that's right, that points me right to the work I need to do a worksheet on or canceling or dismantling a false reality about. The other angle is that lessons ride in on the back of events. And so every time something happens that I don't like or I have resistance to, there's a lesson for me in that interaction. And the lesson, once again, resides inside me. So if I have anger that comes up in me in response to an event I didn't want, it's revealing to me that I had anger that I didn't know was in me prior to this event happening. If I have hurt or sadness or pain that comes up in response to an event that I wasn't expecting, it reveals to me that I have work to do to dismantle or cancel the thoughts that are creating that hurt or that sadness. So I can either say that the addiction heals me of the addiction because now I'm using tools that has me looking at why I'm craving this and what it's helping me avoid, or I can look at what's the triggering event that makes me want to go use the substance and find the lesson in that event or my response to it. And then in the Mindshifter process, as you said, David, I'm going to keep resonating that same theme into my unconscious until the part in my unconscious that wants to fight against that breaks through into the conscious and comes out on the paper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly, Tim. Exactly. And one of the things that I'll add to that is that sometimes the perception can be that I want to go back and to remember a thought and then get rid of that thought and or look at it. And the whole purpose of the Mindshifter and this work here is in addition to getting in touch with the thought about it, the most important thing is to get in touch with the feelings that are around it. It's less important to find out about the thought or where it even originated than it is about the energy that's surrounding that, because the energy is what it is that we're forgiving. We can never really forget anything. It's like we can never, there's been that message that out there is, just forget it and let it go. Just forget about it. And we can't really forget anything. Everything is stored on a cellular level, and what stores that information in there is the level of energy of feeling that I've attached to that. So when there's a thought that comes up that resonates the feeling, it is the feeling that I want to the energy that's around it, if it's anything other than love, to let that go. As an example, with veterans, a lot of me being a Vietnam veteran, my relationship to some situations and where there were some drama or trauma that was created, then there was an energy that got locked in on a cellular level. And when those things get triggered, I remember coming back from Vietnam, that to hear a helicopter, actually the biggest trigger that I had, one of the biggest triggers that I had was the smell of diesel fuel, and it would resonate certain feelings, and I didn't know how to deal with that energy, and that's what, where PTSD is, where it comes from, is that it resonates those feelings, and so often the mind wants to let go of the thought when we have to go through the process of the energy that was surrounding it, that we put into it, of anger, hostility, fear, and just things like that. So yeah, I agree with you 100%, Tim, in that what we're doing is that it isn't the thing that we're addicted to so much as it is that's the tool that we've used to dissociate with the thought, thinking that to do that, then the feelings have kept dissociated, kept hidden from us. So,
well, and another person I've worked with recently stumbled across this phrase that he believes he's forgiven something because he's doing the work, Michael Ryce worksheets and all this other work, and he realizes that if he's forgiven something but he still feels upset by it, he realizes all he's done is pardon it. If he's still feeling the pain, he hasn't dismantled anything, he's only done the pardoning part.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm still feeling the pain, my thoughts are off target, I'm still in error. And I have more releasing, canceling, and dismantling to do.
Yeah, exactly. And, and we've talked about this before, Tim, that there can be things that are generational that are there that I certainly do not have the conscious awareness of, and there's the repeating of it. Sometimes there have been times when I've let go of a lot of things that I've just cannot, that I didn't even have to run through my consciousness using one of the tools of breathing. And sometimes it takes a lot of different worksheets in order to get release from everything. Often the mind will play that trick that, wow, I've already done a worksheet on this. This should all be gone. And no, Michael refers to 77 times 70. How many times will I need to forgive? Well, as many as that it's going to take. I've noticed that in the beginning of it, when there was something that may have a charge on it on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, that it would have a 10, and I would just be doing behavior out of that. And then the same thing that can happen, then the energy that resonates on it might be at a 2 or a 3, and that comes from doing the work, doing the forgiveness work on lots of different levels. And one of the wonderful things is that when I let go of some anger and hostility that's connected with some a major incident, it lets the anger and the hostility go on levels that I'm just not even conscious of. And it's kind of like that file folder effect, what Michael talks about. And when a file folder effect opens up, then it opens up files and files, not just on anger. It could be everything that's associated with that. When I heal something, then it's healed in lots of files as well, too. That's that file folder effect with it. So, yeah, very good. And, Tim, thank you very much for your input and your support on the show every day, and for the call that you made last week on Friday, knowing that, well, someone is out there listening, and it is coming through, because I wasn't even certain if it was coming through, was very helpful. And I appreciate your support in doing that.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. So how is your mom doing?
Mom is doing quite well, rehabbing with a new hip and better spirits every day.
Good. Well, you may have heard me talk about that Tom may be there coming back to visit you. And Tom, if you're listening with him, I'm just putting the support out there for you to go back and visit with Tim and his Mindshifter support group. And for anyone else that's in the Chicago area that'd like to have this support and get this information with someone that's been doing the work quite diligently for the last 5 or 6 years, and have that support of a very well-established groups there, you can go to Dr. Tim's website, or you can go to our website, www.whyagain.com, and link it to Tim's website. And Tim, if you want to, go ahead and give your website out so people could take a look at it.
That would be CANDH CounselingSolutions.com. CandHCounselingSolutions.com.
Cool. Great. So is there anything else that you'd like to add? Jeannie, you said that you had some more people that are in the chat room and have a question.
Okay, actually, the other person that had their hand up, they've disappeared off the switchboard. So whoever you were, please give us a call back in. You were next in queue. Okay, they just popped back in. So hold just one moment. And area code 847, you're on the air. Who do we have?
Oh, that's going to be fun. Hello.
Oh, they disappeared again. They must be having trouble on their end. So maybe they'll pop back in here in just a second. But one of the things I thought of...
It may not be. It is 847. That is up in the Chicago area anyway.
Oh, okay. One of the things that I thought of as you were talking about addictions is there was a lady in our weekend workshop that we did last weekend, or weekend before last, and her addiction was chocolate. And it was really kind of comical because it was a 2-day mini intensive. And so when we were talking about, doing things that help to suppress, to keep you from looking at something, she popped right up and she said, well, I knew that you were going to say that today, so I ate my chocolate early this morning. So it was like she was totally aware of it, but she was still going to do her chocolate. So sometimes being aware of your addiction, even though, it may take you 77 times 70 to get to the point where you'll look at whatever it is you're trying to suppress, sometimes just being aware of that addiction will heal you. And we actually have 2 callers with their hands up, so hold one second and let's try 847 again. Do we have a better connection?
Hello,
847, you're on the air?
Yes, hello.
Yes, go ahead. Who do we have?
Hi, this is Tom. I'm in the Chicago area.
Awesome.
Welcome, Tom. Nice to hear your voice.
Well, hello, David. Twice in a day, eh?
Yeah, that's amazing. It goes so many months, and that's twice in a day. Thank you so much for being on today.
Oh, well, it's very exciting for me. I haven't heard every moment. It's been a bit of fits and starts, but I wanted to bring something up. It's a little bit on topic, I think, that share one of my experiences recently having to do with painful experiences and, shall we say, negative emotions, as it particularly relates to pain. I've been doing a technique where I'm trying to accept life in its totality. It's very easy to accept the really good stuff that comes down the pipe, but then the challenges come. And I think it's natural for most of us to say, well, I don't like this part of it. I'll get through it and find whatever way you can get through it, but it's not acceptance at all. Pain is one thing like that. I prefer to be without pain.
Mm-hmm.
I felt, though, that was setting up a resistant attitude. And so what I started trying to do was to literally love my pain. I'm not a SM proponent or anything like that, but just to accept the pain in as complete a fashion as I can, as being part of life. This is an indication that I am alive and physical, and that's a wonderful gift. And as I am able to really love that which, previously was looked at as something bad, I do reach a level of acceptance, and the energy can flow. And more often than not, my experience has been it goes away within 30 seconds. And it's almost as if my body's trying to signal me there's a reason for this pain. And once I've acknowledged it fully, the message is no longer needed. But until I reach that point, as long as I still hold some resistance against it, I haven't fully accepted it, and the signal continues. Any comment?
Yeah, wow, it's a great question, Tom. And you and I have lots of questions and conversations around this particular thing. And the first thing that came to my mind, and there are a couple of things. Let me start with that. One is that when I'm in pain, as Tim mentioned earlier, I'm in error. And what pain is that pain is a signal that tells us that there's an energy inside of our system that doesn't belong there. We are coming into this world as this energy of love. And when we put an energy into it that's unlike love, it says, ouch, let's remove this. Now, for me to remove it, there's some different techniques and tools and ways to do that. And part of it, one way is for when that pain is up there, is for me to hold the space of pain as I go through the process of that energy going out, because it feels the same way coming in as it does going out. So I want to always ask myself, am I in a healing crisis or am I in a disease process? And the healing will always look like, one of the ways to do that is, am I doing more of the right things? And if I'm doing more of the right things and I have a new level of energy that's raising up, then some pain that has been put into the system is now ready to leave the system. And I have to be willing to go through that pain as it's leaving, not to like, okay, well, I've got pain, that's just the way that life is. I think that it is just that signal, and as soon as I remove the sources of that pain, then I live in this wonderful abundance and alive and exuberant life. When I was living in Nashville, Tennessee, and I was in my 40s, I think is when it was, I had accepted that I had pain. And, I mean, I seem to be in pain all the time. And I just told them, it's just because I'm getting older, because that's the program that the culture had given me and that I bought into until I went to a chiropractor. Now, up until that time, I'd never been to a chiropractor. I'd been to different types of healing, and I've been what I call pretty relatively good shape for all of my life. And I started attending some visits with this chiropractor. Her name is Dr. Penny Schaefer. If she's ever listening, there you are, Penny. Thank you so much. And I wasn't aware that I did not have to be in pain, and she told me that, and that did not make sense to me. I remember the conversations in my head. So, well, yeah, I'm getting old. She said, no, you don't have to. Your body does not need to be in pain. And after about 18 sessions, this was not like one time, okay, now I'm here. I noticed that what was happening was she was teaching me how to remove the pain, and she was doing it with several different modalities and disciplines of releasing the energy, and I was not even conscious of what it was that she was doing on an energetic level at that time. And all of a sudden, I was feeling fabulous physically. And I've been a person that has run marathons and done things, and so I knew what it was like. I did not know, though, consciously that I did not need to be in pain until I went and did that work with her. And the same way with this work that I've been doing with Michael for a while now, that when I have pain, that's telling me that there's something in my energy system that doesn't need to be in there. And I have the tools in order to remove that. And it could be different types of tools, to use. So the pain is the signal to tell me that I need to remove something versus accepting it and going along with it. It's kind of like what I heard you say, Tom, was, and what I heard Jeannie talking about earlier is just having awareness of my pain is the first step of it. Then it's what do I want to do to remove the pain. There is to accept that, this is the way that it is, versus accepting that that's what it is that I've got. To me, is two different messages. So I'll invite to open and look at what is the pain around. Since we come into this as this whole energetic field of energy of love, the only thing that's in my system is something that's showing me that doesn't. Does that help, Tom? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you have some comments or thoughts around that?
No, I think it helps me to understand. And from the law of attraction standpoint, I guess the only thing that I try to be very careful about is, where is my attention focused? Is it on what I want? I'll hear somebody verbalize an issue like this, let's say, and say, I really don't want this pain anymore. Well, of course, the subject of the sentence is the pain, and that will be the point of attraction, which I think is a powerful law. And so, at least for me, the suggestion would be to the visualization of healthy body, free of pain. Where are we in our essence? We are healthy. We are vibrant. And that's where I want to focus my attention rather than something that is something I do not want, because I think it's only, do you agree with that it's really only a one-way, the universe only says yes?
Well, what I think, Tom, is like what you were talking about in the laws of attraction. We only attract to us, that's what it is that's resident, that's in us. And it's drawn that the universe is set up in a way that if I have an energy in my system that's anger, then I have this anger. The universe sets it up out there. The laws are set up in a way that I'm going to draw someone to me that will resonate that anger in me, so that it then comes to the surface where I have the opportunity to choose to not just let go of that, to hold the space of love as that energy is going out. So that law of attraction works in that way. The challenge, what I've worked with and what I think a lot of people have, is that with the law of attraction, well, just think about what it is that I want to attract. And when you use the language, I don't want the pain, the law of the mind doesn't hear it, I don't want the pain. What the law hears is, I want pain. And so, because, you don't think of the color of your car, I don't want to think of the color of my car. It's the same thing. So it's a law of resonance and energy that I'm going to attract that. Now, if I have, and I know that I do have, because everything is genetically encoded and transferred to every cell, as Michael says, if we're to conceive a child and it's born tomorrow, it will have every thought, every feeling, every emotion that carries in the cell genetically. And they're doing this, and you might want to take a look at this video, Tom, that Michael came across a couple of weeks ago. We talked about it and I think it's on our website. It's the ghost of the genes, and it's a 45-minute thing that the scientists are now proving it. That we're having that 3 and 4 generations down the line, people are having the effect of what was of an energy that went on in a parent or a grandparent 3, 4 generations ago, and they had nothing to do with it. And it's around famine. It was about over in I think it was, let me think of the country. It's one of the countries. So just,
is that part of your archive?
Take a look. Huh?
Is that in your archives, David, or is it something to search for?
It should be, and I have to check with Jeannie to see if it's still there. It's called The Ghost of Your Genes, Genes. And you can Google that and come up, and it's a 45-minute video. If it isn't, whether we will get it on there, because it's very powerful. It reinforces what Michael's been teaching for 40 years and what's been around on the planet for 2,000 years when Yeshua said, this is how it works. This is a law of physics. That's what Yeshua was here teaching. This is how life works. This is how energy, this is how it is that it works. And if we're carrying that, we're not aware of that on a conscious level, then all of a sudden it's going to resonate, it's going to come up. Well, I want to acknowledge it, that it's coming up. That, to me, is the awareness, and then make the choice of how I want to remove that, using the tools with that.
I found it on Google. I did not find it in the archives.
Oh, okay.
I will be getting it out there. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, there's so much that's on the website and so many things that Jeannie's involved in doing, and Michael, that getting it all up on it. And things are moving so rapidly. We've talked about that before, that the things that are being brought to the surface for people in the culture and why, and people are having to look at this. The universe is saying, hey, listen, you guys have been behaving this way for a long time. It's not like it's saying that, like it's doing anything. We can continue to put anger and hostility out. If we're carrying that anger and hostility within us, it resonates everywhere. It shows up in the world. It shows up in our life. And the more of it that we're seeing, it's because that coming from a place of I'm responsible for what it is that's going on out there. Not to blame. It's to be responsible. I think it was the one spiritual leader. Huh?
All right.
I'm sorry. Did someone say something? So if you're talking, Tom, I'm unable to make it out. So if
you probably heard the background from my phone. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. Be sorry for nothing. Be sorry for nothing. What we've, and again, this is a language thing. It is so true that, the more sorry that I am, then I get to live a sorry life. Now, that means that, I'm giving instructions to my mind all the time. And we like to play this game here at Heartland, especially when people are coming here for getting this advanced work, that we want to point out to them that our language and the language that we use automatically gives a message to our system, to our mind about, this is where I want to behave. And there's nothing to be sorry about. And again, usually what we've been taught about being sorry, it's almost like the word forgiveness. And so, beg your pardon, excuse me, or something like that, to me works a lot better. And I just support you as my friend in letting go of being sorry. Fabulous life.
Okay.
Okay?
I didn't feel that sorry.
I know, but that's an instruction. That's an instruction, Tom, that we give it to the mind, and the mind was created for us.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, it's wonderful to hear your voice, and we got to talk with you this morning and now on the radio show, and I do hope that you will tune in every day and that you and I can stay connected and a little more frequent than we have, and maybe go to support Tim and the Mindshifter support group. I mean, it's right there. It's in Crystal Lake now. I mean, it is in your backyard, So it would be great.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Anything else you'd like to comment on, say, talk about?
I'm going to listen.
Huh? What was that, Tom? I don't know if I've disconnected from him. Am I still there, Jeannie?
Yes, you are. And Tom is still in there, too.
Okay.
I'm going to enjoy the rest of the program.
Oh, fabulous. Thank you so much for making it a big piece. And, for the other folks that you would like to call in, then the number is 646-200-4169. And you can go to the website and you get into the chat room. Jeannie, do we have any more calls or questions or comments?
No, there was a lady on earlier who was actually in the Illinois area as well. So Tim and I gave her the information so she could go to his website again. And so perhaps he'll have a new person from there showing up and visiting with him. She was just asking, it was her first time on the website, and she was like, what kind of questions do you ask? And so, I just put it out there that, we're based on forgiveness, which is not pardoning another person, but going inside and removing what doesn't belong within us, and that we cover everything from stress to relationships and codependency, and that if she asked something that we didn't have an answer to, we'd tell her, and we would, try to direct her in a way where she could find an answer. But leave, so she's off the site right now.
Very good. It's amazing when someone asks me, so what do you guys do? What do you talk about? And what are you about? It's almost like saying, well, go to the website and spend about 6 weeks just looking at the little things that were on there. You could actually do that. And the basis of our program, on the Mindshifters program here, is to support people in shifting what it is that goes in what it is that they hold as beliefs. If your life isn't working the way that it is that you want, you may have to change the direction of how you've lived your life so far up to date. And when you do that, well, then you're going to get a chance to look at everything of what it is that you created. And we do look at it that we are co-creators. Beg your pardon?
I said that's exactly right. And we do have another caller just popped in. So area code 610, you're on the air. Who do we have and where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Eileen. I'm calling from Pennsylvania.
Hi, Eileen from Pennsylvania. How are you today?
Hi, good. I have a question that's really kind of got me feeling like a raw nerve lately. It's been going on, I don't know, progressively worse this past year, but it feels like I'm getting a lot of strange attack, like almost energy from either my children, my friends, just about everybody, and I'm afraid to go out in public now. It's like, what is wrong with me? I've got some big attack sign on me or something.
Well, are you breathing, Eileen?
I am not attacking others. I know the standard answer is if you're getting attacked, you must be them.
Well, so I'm going to invite you to kind of let go of that, that you're inviting the attack so much as it is. A lot of times that I've found with this work, Eileen, is that, yes, I do attract what it is to me, and my program of being blamed, guilt, fault, shame, and all that usually gets opened up, and rather than for me to be able to look at it from a loving way, then my guilt, fault, and blame that I'm doing this to myself, it overtakes the feelings, and then I don't take any action toward it. The only action that I can take towards it is more of guilt, fault, blame, and shame. And what we're
I don't tend to go to the shame and guilt thing. I don't know.
Well, I'll invite you, just based on what it is that you just told me, that you're kind of reclusing yourself now. That's a word that I'm using. You didn't say that, but it's like not going out there.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
That's usually an indication that I'm blaming. I quote, don't want to attract this to me, and just by using that language, I don't want to resonate that there's something that's coming towards me that I need to look at. And I need to use the tool of forgiveness as one of the tools in order to let that go. So being aware that you're feeling that way, and no one can attack us. It's only that we have an energy in there about being attacked, and it usually
but
comes
I haven't had
fear.
Actually, I have. I was going to say it's been extremely bad just within this past year, but I guess I have had a little bit. Yeah, at different points in my life, it has been there before. Yes.
Yeah, because, see, we're an energy system, and everything is stored in us that, as I was saying earlier, even genetically, that there can be an energy that needs to be rebooted. If we do not have the tools and the understanding and willingness to go through that process, then we'll just keep repeating the same thing over and over and asking the question, why is this happening to me again? And part of what we talk about in the on the program here as well is that we come from this some language that defines what's reality and what's actuality, like what's going on in the world versus what's going on inside of me. And the definition that we use as reality is the mind, the content that's in my mind. It's not the actuality that's going on out there. That's my reality of what it is that I'm seeing going on. And so we create all of that, and we create it from the content of our mind. And our mind just continues to show us what it is that we have stored in our brain cells. And when I use brain cells, it's like in every cell of the body contains all of the information. Until I'm willing to and have the tools to be able to go in and to remove that, then I'll keep drawing to me the same thing, the exact same thing. We're an energy system. We're an energy system of love. And though it may be, we may have lived a wonderful, fabulous life in this particular time, and yet there's behaviors and things that come from a genetic, and we're referring back to what I was talking with.
Well, how can I find out? How can I find out what those are and what I can do about it?
Oh, well, here's what you can do about it. They invite you to do this, and is to go to the website, www.whyagain, and download the Reality Management Worksheet and begin using that. We have a lot of different tools there to use, and you're welcome to go through that. So I invite you to spend some time and just take one worksheet. And the tendency is, Irene, is to tackle our biggest problem, that then everything will be handled. Just use that worksheet and do it on an inanimate object, like a chair or a computer or a car or an event that didn't turn out the way, and just follow the instructions. There's some instructions about doing that. And
which one is
doing one of those. Do it today.
Which one is it?
Minimum of one. Pardon me?
Which one is it? I'm on the website. Which one is it?
It's the Reality Management Tool.
Okay.
It's called the Reality Management Tool, and there's several different forms of that. For over the years, Michael has made lots of different changes with this. And my recommendation is just to go with the 7-step one. We have a 7-step, we have 11-step, and we have a 12-step. Each one of them takes it to a different level. And just beginning out, it's kind of like learning how to play baseball. Can you learn how to play baseball? Yeah. But could you hit the pitcher of a major league team? No, not beginning out. So we recommend that folks begin with the 7th step, and then just start using that tool.
Okay. If
you'll do minimum of one of those every day, by the end of the week, I promise you'll see something's different. It's called building the brain cells. You're learning how you're retraining your mind. You're going to be letting go of some things that's in your mind, and you're going to be putting new things into it. Without the tools to do that, then the mind's just good. The mind is just an evidential device. It just keeps showing us the evidence that it has in there. What we're going to invite people to do is to let go of that, what's in the mind, and when you do that, you automatically tap into a higher consciousness, your soul, your spirit, call it whatever, there's lots of names that have been put on this, that will then guide you. So that's where I recommend that you begin with that, and let us know how it is that how you're doing with that, and then the questions that you have about it you'll be able to look at and get an answer to. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, and I get it that my sense with Irene is that you're willing to do. Is it Irene or Irene?
Eileen.
Okay, beg your pardon. So Eileen, I get it that you have a level of willingness to do this because you're on the website, because you're now downloading it and you're looking at it.
I know. I had to laugh when I heard the name of your website, whyagain.com.
Yeah. Why is this happening to me? Now, you can also download the book free there, and you can read this, and it will take you through that step-by-step of how to do that. Mm-hmm. There's a guide there. And our purpose is to support people in making that happen.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, great.
Good. And, if you would like to go into the chat room, and if you want to follow us and follow up and listen to us on the radio, we're here every day, and we also offer other tools that are on there for people that are interested in getting a little more involved. And I don't know if we have someone in your area that has a Mindshifter support group, and if there isn't, though, you can begin one. It isn't necessary. It's only necessary to have a level of willingness that when you take a step towards doing something, the universe opens up and makes it all available.
Okay.
Now, the mind wants to have it all done at one time.
Right.
So my support is to do the minimum of one worksheet today, maybe download the book, read 15 minutes of the book, minimum of 15 minutes of the book today. That's all. You can read more if you want to, and you will then begin on your way to shifting and doing things different. As you know, one of the big quotes out, I can't do something I don't know if I keep doing what it is I do know. And the definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing over and over and expect to get different results.
Right.
That's from Einstein, which is a pretty smart fellow.
Yeah.
Does that help?
Yeah. Thank you.
You're most welcome, and we look forward to talking with you the rest of the week and let us know how it is. And I'll let you know that as you delve into this, then everything that you never wanted to deal with is going to start to surface. Now, it won't all surface at one time, okay? It won't surface at one time because there is a law that only allows us to work with what it is that our energy level is able to take. And there's a law with that. And we talked about those different laws as well, too.
Mm-hmm.
So take that worksheet and do that and let us know how you're doing.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Jeannie, how are we doing?
All right. Very good. Good. We've got about 3 minutes left. We don't have any other questions right at the moment. So there's several people still listening in. And so
how about you take a few minutes and talk about Heartland and the intensive and yours and Michael's schedule and where you're going to be and how people can go to the website and so forth.
Okay, very good. If you do go to our website, which is www.whyagain.com, over on the right-hand side, there's a thing that says schedules. So if you click on that, there's our intensive schedules and there's also our travel schedules. And our travel schedule has been under somebody else's control that's bigger than us because it just keeps expanding and going different places. Our intensive schedule starts July the 8th. We actually have work months, though, the month before that. But you can go to our site and click on the intensive schedule, and you can see everything, the prices and everything listed. But it starts on July the 8th with a 9-day codependence intensive. And what we're offering right now is that people will order $300 worth of product, and that does not include shipping and handling. $300 worth of product, and with your product we will send you a certificate that is worth $300 towards an intensive for this summer. So you'll be getting $300 worth of product, but you'll also be getting $300 off of the price of the intensive. So that's a really good deal. And so we're putting that out as an incentive to get people to participate, to take their work to a deeper level, which is to go to an intensive, which is a residential. We have a center there in Theodosia, Missouri, where people come and live residentially for anywhere from 9 to 65 days. And it definitely takes it to a more intensive level. So go to our website and check that out. And our travel schedule keeps changing. We just got an email this morning from someone who is interested in us coming to their facility while we're in Las Vegas, which we're leaving Florida this coming Friday and heading to Vegas. And so we've already gotten someone else that popped in and said, hey, you're going to be here, come here. So it just keeps growing and growing. But,
yeah, and, Jeannie, I want to add something. One of the things that I said we were going to do on the talk show is that we're going to do a key thought, and I never got to read the key thought. And so I'm going to read the key thought.
Okay, well, you've got less than a minute, so go for it.
Okay, so the key thought for the day was to work on when you choose to be aware of behavior patterns that don't serve you, you are in position to change them. That's empowerment when you change them. Now, that was the key thought. What have we been talking about today? This exactly, and the level of willingness. So thank you, everyone, for participating, and we look forward to talking with everyone again. Thank you so much, Dr. Tim and Tom and Eileen and Jeannie and Terry for being on there. I know that you're hanging in there with it, and everyone for just being a part of Mindshifters Radio. Up to you, Jeannie. Are you there?
I am here.
Hello? Okay.
Thank you, everybody. Terry, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yep. Go for it.
Well, we got 20 seconds?
Yeah.
Oh, we're still there.
Okay, well, ring me up. Talk to you guys later. Love you.
All right. Take care. Thanks, everybody, for calling in. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.